We're coming to you live from Mumbai, where you've seen the big launch of the Bolero as well as the Bolero New and the updated one as well. You can see the vehicles on my side as well. But talk more about this as well as a lot more about what Bolero means actually for Mahindra and Mahindra. I'm joined by Mr. Gollagunta. He's the CEO of the Automotive Division. Pleasure speaking with you again. Thanks so much for giving us time at NDTV Profit. 25 years for the Bolero, and this, we're standing next to the Bolero New, which was launched in 2021. What has that pivot actually meant for you as well as for Mahindra and Mahindra at this particular point of time?
So Bolero Neo, as you know, is one of the sub-brands within our Bolero portfolio. If you look at Bolero as a whole, it's a 25-year-old legacy for us. It's not just an SUV, it's also very much of an identity of India as a whole. And Bolero Neo adds on to that. As the customers have evolved, become more sophisticated, they wanted a vehicle which is a little bit more youthful, has a little more tech features. And really what we have done with this vehicle, with the new launch itself, is we've taken some of the customer feedback in terms of tech, creature comforts, and we've kind of made that value proposition even more attractive and stronger.
So is largely premiumization one of the key strategies that you've had with this particular vehicle, and you seem to be addressing a crowd that wanted those features, and now they'll be getting that because it's largely as an image of a very rural vehicle, but that seems to be not the case with the Neo as well. So is that with the addition of so many new features that you've described in this particular launch, that seems to be addressing a lot of gaps which you might have had or might have in the future?
Yeah, I think not as much as gaps as in evolving customer to that extent.
Yeah.
The customers we have might have a legacy of Bolero, might have had that in the family over a period of time, but they have progressed in life, they're at a different stage, and they want some of these features on top of the goodness of what a Bolero stands for. A body-on-frame vehicle, true blue SUV, tough, rugged, can go anywhere to that extent, yet not compromise on some of the features and tech to that extent. And that's really what is embodied in this product.
Do you also see that, one of the key aspects is the second generation also coming to choosing a Bolero New compared to the father who had the Bolero Classic at that time?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So we see some of that play out as well, which is really a journey in a family that the parents might own the Bolero itself, and to that extent, the name holds a certain value. And there's a value proposition to what that vehicle stands for. Yet, they want something which is a little bit more contemporary and youthful, which is what it is. And that's why for us, it's a Bolero family we're talking about, not necessarily one vehicle or the other vehicle.
We also have the Classic here, which started it all for you essentially so many years ago. Has probably started you off with a rural SUV maker, and now with the multiple new launches, the 700s, the 3XOs, you've become essentially a pan-India maker. You've also got a very big GST cut on all of these vehicles from 31 to almost 18% now. Has that led to increased demand post-September 22nd?
Yeah, definitely. So GST 2.0 has been a huge boost for the entire industry, and that has played out well for us as well. And if you look at September itself, and again, it's very early days to see how it will play out fully, but just our dealer reported customer retails in Navratra, the first 9 days, if you look at it, our SUV growth has been about 60% just for those 9 days to that extent. So clearly, it's starting to play out. Some of it is pent-up demand from before as well, but we're quite optimistic to have a strong festive season.
Have you also seen essentially waiting periods increase in this particular point of time because of largely trailer shortage then production? Because you've seen a lot of consumers coming post September 22nd to you, and that seems to be what the industry is suggesting, what you suggested to us in our last conversation as well. Does that largely increase waiting periods? But customers for you all is quite different. They are very design centric, so you wouldn't be having any loss of sales essentially at this particular point of time.
Yeah, so definitely logistics is something we are focused on very much. It was a consideration in the second half of last month as well, and continues to be an area of focus for us. So we'll see how it plays out, but having said that, these are brand loyalists. They wouldn't buy anything other than what it is, and especially with what we put out as a new products, very strong value proposition. We are hoping that we'll be able to cater the customer demand with this.
Could you also just give us some perspective on how the Neo as well as something like a 3XO also offers in your current basket? Any kind of differentiation that you see within consumers there? Because 3XO, while very successful, is still quite new to have a distinct customer. You're seeing someone going for an entry-level 3XO, someone going for a mid-variant. Has there been any differentiation in your mind between the Neo as well as the 3XO, and any kind of cannibalization that you see at this particular point of time?
Yeah, I think, see, as you know, a 3XO in some ways gives a very wide range in terms of not just the pricing, but also in terms of the fuel options which are out there, diesel and petrol put together, and even within petrol, the TGDI engine we'll put out there. So reality is it's a choice customers are making, and there will be some cross-country consideration at any point in time. But if you look at GST 2.0, some of our variants in 3XO, the price drop is as much as 1.5 lakhs. So it's a very strong proposition on its own. And with the competitive prices we put out there, we think both of them are equally compelling options for customers.
Is it that the Neo is more rugged compared to the 3XO at this point? Because while it was expected to be a very urban push with the 3XO, you get that urbanization pitch with a rugged pitch. Is that what you get with the Neo as a variant?
Yeah, so the intent is that there is a certain journey where the customer takes with Bolero. And as the family evolves, the next generation might be looking at a Neo. So of course there is that rural bent to it to that extent, but it's very much an urban product. 3XO has its own journey, which is the XUV family DNA to that extent. So it has two different segments, but there's always going to be some consideration.
With the Classic, there's this distinct rural image that I mentioned and at the start as well. Do you see that with the brand largely, with Neo as well, or do you feel that it's slightly more rural push, but you have a lot of urban consumers as well, with a very big distinction of rural and urban now being merging as well? Is there anything that you can give us some perspective of that image changing now with not just being a rural SUV?
So again, you said it right. The whole definition of rural and urban is a very fluid thing. It's hard to say what that means. We've seen customers from a seemingly urban environment go buy a vehicle which looks rural, but it's because for their parents. They buy an XUV for some of the small towns as well. So it's hard to say which way it goes. Our intent is that we will provide an entire bouquet of products across all the powertrains and fuel types as well, and let the customer make a choice which way they want to go.